yet in wise old Ravenclaw, if you've a ready mind, where those of wit and learning will always find their kind. What's up, guys? Today is Ravenclaw Pride Day, and we are going to be celebrating thusly. We're going to look at some of the traits that make Ravenclaws great people. We're going to be looking at the symbolism behind the house colours and stuff, and how that translates into the traits that these people have. And yeah, we're just gonna do the most Ravenclaw thing ever and learn about Ravenclaw, because apparently the books and the movies don't want to sort of tell us too much about it or give us a main character in that house. So I've got a couple of bits down below. Before we get into all of that though, I want to talk about all of the houses, just in general to begin with. There are two main things here. What element that they all correspond with, because they do all correspond with a classic element, and how their Horcrux / Horcrux Destroyer is representative of their of their house and their traits. So we'll start off with the elements, because this means that you're able to quickly go and look up what the element itself represents, which is done quite easily if you've watched my astrology videos. There is a full playlist, and you'll only have to scroll if you've come onto my channel, you'll only have to scroll as far as yesterday's video to find that playlist linked. Yeah, so you can go there, and I talk about the different elements in I think the very first one. But if we go the way the Hogwarts logo is set out, we'll go clockwise. That'll finish us with Ravenclaw, and therefore allow us the nice little transition in. I am also going to bring up their animals in this, and how they help sort of solidify that as being a particular colour. So first off, we'll start with Gryffindor, obviously. Red and the lion. I mean, I don't think this needs to go like it's not too much of a stretch of the imagination to believe that Gryffindor's element is fire. The amount of, completely switching universes here, but the amount of Pokemon that are fire lions, top of my head, there's 2 evolutionary lions that are fire lions. You've got the starter Pokemon in Litten, who evolves fully into Incineroar, and then there's Litleo, which evolves into Pyroar. So there's at least 5 Pokemon there that are fire lions, as well as the fact of whenever you look at a lion, its mane, depending on how the light's hitting it, could look like it's a mane of flame. Plus, the lion itself does evoke the courage and bravery aspect of Gryffindor by it being one of the most famous animals used in the Colosseum that gladiators would have to fight, as well as obviously being the first of Hercules' labours fighting the Nemean lion. So bravery does come across from being the lion. You can be lion-hearted, is another word for being that. And then, facing a trial by fire also evokes bravery. So that's Gryffindor. Slytherin is probably the most difficult of the 4 to place, but it is water. The reason for this being is that sea lions are not at all related to land lions. Sea lions are seals. And being a marine mammal, I think are more closely related to like dolphins and whales and stuff. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that. I did not look up this particular fact before filming this video. But yeah, you can get sea eagles, which is Ravenclaw's animal. But again, they are still just birds. They just happen to nest near the sea, hence their name. And there are no sea badgers. There's just not. There are, however, sea snakes that actually swim and live in the sea. On top of that, the entrance to Slytherin's Chamber of Secrets is through a bathroom. The movement of a serpent is like the tide. So that sort of comes across in it as well. And there was one more thing that I had, and I can't think of it now. But yeah, once you sort of look into it a bit, water does become a lot more apparent. Earth is Hufflepuff's, very easy. Yellow is, of the four colours, the closest you get to like browns and earth tones, and so therefore can symbolise like the ground. Particularly if you're looking at like sand can be yellow. So you've got this like earth tone with this animal that burrows into the ground and is very hardworking. And then finally, that leaves air for Ravenclaw, unsurprisingly being the one that has a bird as its animal. Now, I've got some symbolism here for that particular animal, so we will read that. So, with the ability to soar higher, with the ability to soar to heights other birds merely dream of, the eagle is a powerful. This one here is as a spirit animal, in case we are wondering. But it's a powerful animal totem that offers lessons about looking closely at the most minute of details in order to see life from a broader perspective. When this graceful hunter comes into your life, it's time to look inward with a careful eye. Allow your heart to guide you, and opportunities you never dreamed were possible will present themselves when you least expect it. Eagles have feet with 4 toes. 4 is a symbol for having a solid foundation and being grounded. Those who are guided by the eagle spirit animal are grounded. Even though the eagle can soar to great heights, they're still strongly connected to the earth. Among being grounded and connected to the earth, those guided by the eagle are also resilient and in complete harmony with the spiritual aspects of their lives. Unafraid of the unknown, these seekers accept life's challenges with unshakable courage, determination, and confidence. As a power animal, the eagle is most frequently associated with wisdom and freedom, as well as intuition, creativity, strength, courage, hope, resilience, healing, vision. Healing, again, they've listed healing twice apparently, and sexual power. We are going off Native American tribes here. So for generations, Native American tribes have associated with the eagle with vision, wisdom, and strength. The predatory spirit animal symbolizes taking responsibility for one's actions, healing nature, and treading lightly as a matter of respect for Mother Earth. Nearly all religious and spiritual traditions embrace the eagle as a symbol of salvation and hope. Historically, cultures all over the world have associated the eagle's energy with the commanding elements of sun and thunder. One example of this is the god Zeus. The eagle was sacred to Zeus. He often changed into its form in order to control thunder and the lightning, and is likely where we get thunderbirds from, as in not the puppets that fly in rocket ships, but as in like the mythological animal that the Pokemon Zapdos was based on. From biblical times to modern day, some of the most powerful societies and cultures have adopted the eagle's image as a sign of strength and freedom. Cultures such as the Aztecs, Sumerians, Hittites, Romans, Egypts, and Native Americans all had strong symbolism associated with the eagle. This article seems to go on a fair bit more, so I will link it down below for you. But having some of Ravenclaw's traits innately in the eagle itself sort of cements it as its animal, not the raven. I know it's in the name, but if we look at it as if we look at the word raven as a shade of black claws, eagles have black claws. You could tell me that ravens and crows have that too, yes, but they also have black feathers as well. If we're going for a bird that only has black claws, eagles tend to be that. And then the bronze comes across in its colour scheme by being its feathers, and it flies in the sky, which is blue. And there we get our colours for Ravenclaw. Speaking of colours, I've got symbolism for blue and for bronze. I've got to turn this corner that I sit in to film these videos. While it is a nice spot to sit, is a little bit closed in, and it beats sitting over with the phone on the bookshelf, because if I sit over there, I'm actually sitting on probably, I don't know, 5 centimeters worth, like 2 inches worth of 2-3 inches worth of a wooden beam, which is not exactly the most comfortable thing ever. Anyway, blue is the favorite color of all people. I will try to find the image that I used to show this same fact to my mother, and I will put it here. But blue is the favorite color of all people from all countries. It's usually very closely followed by red, in a majority of cases, and then green, which is likely why first, second, and third place ribbons are coloured that same way. So blue is the favourite colour of all people. It's nature's colour for water and sky, but is rarely found in fruits and vegetables. And the reason why blue is our favourite colour is exactly because it's nature's colour for water. As far as evolution is concerned, if you were able to find blue in a natural environment, it generally meant that you were looking at water, and so therefore you would be able to have something to drink and not die. Today, blue is embraced as the colour of heaven and authority, denim jeans and corporate logos, and it's the colour of corporate logos because it's the colour of authority. It's cold, wet and slow as compared to red's warmth, fire and intensity. Blue has a more complex and contradictory meanings. Blue has more complex and contradictory meanings than any other colour. These can easily be explained by pinpointing the specific shade of blue. So dark blue is trust, dignity, intelligence and authority. A brighter blue, cleanliness, strength, dependability and coolness. The origins of these meanings arise from the qualities of the ocean and inland waters, most of which are more tangible. A lighter blue is like the sky blue, peace, serenity, spirituality and infinity. The origin of these meanings is the intangible aspects of the sky. Most blues convey a sense of trust, loyalty, cleanliness and understanding. On the other hand, blue evolved as a symbol of depression in American culture. Singing the blues and feeling the blues are good examples of the complexity there. As I said before, it's the number 1 favorite color of all people. 53% of world flags contain the color blue. It's the most commonly used color in corporate identity. A dark blue suit is professional business attire. Blue jeans are worn all over the world. And aristocracy is blue-blooded in all European languages. Going off the authority as well and the blue blood there, a while back the hashtag Blue Lives Matter was in reference to police who use the colour blue to symbolise their authority as the enforcers of law. Unique meanings of blue in different cultures, and I'm probably going to end the blue definition, the blue meanings with these, but the ancient Greeks believed that blue wards off the evil eye. The English to feel blue has no equivalent in other languages, while in German, blau sein, I think I'm saying that correctly, it literally means to be blue, means to be drunk, or in Russian, their word for like blue means to be homosexual, which I think just goes to, especially in the modern day, goes to show that Ravenclaw is the more accepting house. We will get into that in just a second. Dark blue is the color of mourning in Korea. In Hinduism, the god Krishna has blue skin. Shades of blue are described as shallow or deep instead of light or dark in China. In Belgium, blue is for a baby girl and pink is for a baby boy. I did read an article a while back that sort of showed why blue and pink are historically the baby boy, baby girl color. And yeah, and we'll try to find that again at some point. Maybe I'll make a video on it. And in Italy and Spain, Prince Charming is called the Blue Prince. Yeah, cool. So the other color for Ravenclaw is bronze, and I did actually manage to find some symbolism for it. So, again, listed below in the links, bronze usually refers to a copper alloy that contains metallic elements such as tin. Nonetheless, it can also be used to describe a color. Since this is an earth element, most of the bronze color meaning can be associated with nature, such as humility and being grounded, which again goes back to the eagle, which has a strong affinity with the ground. It has a strength and indicates stability, security, and sturdiness, which I think just goes to accentuate the line with a ready mind. If you're ready, you've got a stable footing, and you're in a position where you're able to chase after that dream and that vision. People with this type of personality will often provide excellent support to the people around them. They are more accepting of people, despite the fact that I would have put acceptance as one of Hufflepuff's strong points. Ravenclaw does have a high number of eccentrics, and as we just saw with blue, some cultures see it as the color of homosexuality, and so yeah. Alright, so these last two bits that I'm on are on wizardingworld.com. First one is 6 reasons to get excited if you're sorted into Ravenclaw. So let's count these down. Number 1, it's famous for welcoming eccentric people, as I was just saying. So Ravenclaw hasn't half produced a band of fascinating minds, many of whom have touched Harry's life. From Cho Chang, who really didn't do a whole lot for propagating the appearance of being a smart house. It was just sort of that one time Harry had a crush. To Moaning Myrtle, who got picked on for being eccentric by other students from the other houses, and who was very knowledgeable about the Chamber of Secrets, and was very helpful in that. To the never-ending abstract charms of Luna Lovegood, who does do a very good job for showing what Ravenclaws are capable of. Intensely intelligent, Ravenclaws are also unique and think outside the box. This is usually a good thing, unless by thinking outside the box you mean stealing other wizards' stories and erasing their memories, like certain Ravenclaw, Gilderoy Lockhart. Can't remember where it was, but I did read a bit. It said that Ravenclaws had particularly good, had a particularly high affinity for memory, whether that is with Gilderoy Lockhart's memory charms or with another one of our notable characters, Garrick Ollivander, who remembers every wand he ever sold. That kind of eidetic memory is very impressive, considering he's been around long enough to have sold James and Lily their wands. So, plus he knew what core Voldemort's wand had. So there's at least 50 years there, which is, at least got to put him in his late 60s, early 70s by the time Harry gets to buying his wand, and still having that kind of a memory is impressive. Getting into the Ravenclaw common room sounds like a lot of fun. A house that thrives from bountiful minds. It's not at all surprising that to get into Ravenclaw Tower, one must complete a riddle. Harry discovered this when accompanying Luna to the common room. She answered the deep question, which came first, the phoenix or the flame, which I guess is just the Wizarding World's chicken or egg question, with an even deeper response, a circle has no beginning. So every time a student wants a bit of kip, they have to engage in a philosophical debate first. Now, I'm going to answer the chicken or the egg question here for you guys, and realistically it comes down to which origin of the universe you subscribe to, whether you're creationist or evolutionary. If you're a creationist, then the chicken came first, because whichever god you believe in just willed the animal into existence, and it was just there, and then he was able to lay the egg. If you subscribe to evolution and the Big Bang, then single-celled organisms came first, and slowly evolved into everything that we know. And so it really sort of depends on when that particular organism that became chickens, again, that one would just be that the circle has no beginning, except that in that case, the circle's beginning is just a single-celled organism. There you go, that's what came first. Ravenclaws aren't just in it for the glory. Most of Ravenclaw House threw their support behind Cedric Diggory in the Triwizard Tournament rather than Harry. Like Ron, many of them thought that Harry had worked some trick and cheated himself into the competition, and with the exception of Gilderoy, Ravenclaws are usually a little bit more demure when it comes to seeking glory. I definitely think Lockhart had that Slytherin ambition as well. They speak their mind. For such clever people, Ravenclaws can also be surprisingly outspoken. The spokesman for unwittingly blunt statements was, of course, Luna, who was often so matter-of-fact about things that she could have been a successful stand-up comedian in another life, read as a muggle. From announcing that Harry, Ron and Hermione's beloved friend Hagrid was not a very good teacher, to telling Ron that Padma Patil didn't enjoy being his date at the Yule Ball very much. Another Ravenclaw, who I don't know why Luna had to be the one to tell him. Padma could have just outright said that. In the books, she's a Ravenclaw. For some reason, in the movies, she's a Gryffindor. The house emblem is awesome, with a triumphant eagle as the emblem and a glorious blend of blue and bronze, all of which we've already looked at. As house colours, anyone sorted into Ravenclaw is going to automatically look fabulous. As well as being able to adorn oneself in a rather flattering hue at Quidditch matches, Ravenclaws can also take solace in the fact that their house animal, the eagle, is probably one of the coolest birds out there. And then it's got here, it's a symbol of strength, immortality, and closely linked to the gods Zeus and Odin. It's interesting that they put Odin here because, from my memory, he is the Norse god of wisdom himself. And with Zeus gave birth to the Greek goddess of wisdom, Athena, from his own head. So slightly more regal than, say, Badger, and still with some very strong links there to wisdom. And then the last one is their founder has the most tragic and intriguing backstory, and that backstory is obviously in relation to her daughter Helena taking Ravenclaw's diadem in order to get the wisdom that it gives its wearer. And so, despite Helena's theft, fatally ill Rowena Ravenclaw sent the Bloody Baron to track her down, which he did, but with further tragic consequences. And then, last for this video is the WizardingWorld.com's article on why you should fall in love with a Ravenclaw, because we need love too, okay? Anyone working at Warner Brothers, we need love too. They're wise, witty and clever, so what's not to love? Once we get past the big picture of Luna there, given it's the home of those with a ready mind, Ravenclaw House could seem a little intimidating, but don't let that love of learning fool you. Ravenclaws are naturally curious, welcoming of eccentrics, and they have one of the most interesting house ghosts at Hogwarts. But just in case you need more convincing of the benefits of a Ravenclaw romance, here's our rundown. It would be a wise choice. Wise old Ravenclaw is how the Sorting Hat describes this house's founder, and that wisdom certainly filtered down into most of Ravenclaw's students. If you're wise, you're known for good judgment, which is definitely a quality you want in a partner. Reflects well on you, that. And while there are some Ravenclaws who buck this tendency towards wisdom, obviously he's talking about Gilderoy Lockhart, but his cleverness didn't stop him from making bad choices, and Rowena Ravenclaw's own daughter showed pretty poor judgment when she told Tom Riddle about her mother's lost diadem. But despite that fact, most of them are pretty shrewd. For example, Luna Lovegood's advice to Harry after Sirius's death came at just the right moment. So she, obviously having seen death and knowing about Thestrals herself, she says, "Oh, come on, you heard them, just behind the veil, didn't you?" Letting sort of, I don't know. I don't understand I'm gonna have to do a reread of the books. I don't fully understand the context of that quote. Because she doesn't say it in the movies, and I think in pictures. When you're in need of advice and comfort, you could do a lot worse than seek out a Ravenclaw. They know what to say, when to say, and they're never afraid to speak their minds. On top of that, most Ravenclaws aren't worried about keeping their knowledge to themselves, apart from Lockhart, who prefer to take other people's knowledge we'll let that example slide for now. From Luna to Garrick Ollivander to head of house Professor Flitwick, Ravenclaws are generally happy to share their experiences, which is always good for a relationship. Plus, they know so much stuff. Even Lockhart was good at memory charms. You'd never have to read a textbook again, and just think about how much easier it would be to complete a crossword or score 100% in a quiz with a Ravenclaw at your side. I do want to point out here that it's making us all out to be complete geniuses. And while, being knowledgeable and intelligent does come with the territory, you cannot be knowledgeable about all things. For instance, I am very knowledgeable about how to take photographs and make films. I know a lot about mythology and the very intricate structure of storytelling, but I don't know anything too advanced about, say, cars and mechanical engineering and that sort of thing. I know how to turn my car on and drive it in accordance to the law, but I don't know how to, I wouldn't be able to fix my car myself. And so with completing a crossword or scoring 100% in a quiz, it would also have to be fitting in with with your particular Ravenclaw's area of expertise. So point number 3 we're up to now. They prize individuality. In his Welcome to Ravenclaw speech, Prefect Robert Hillard talks about Ravenclaw's people being the most individual of any Hogwarts house. In Ravenclaw Tower, individuality, even eccentricity, is a trait to be prized. As free thinkers and free spirits, Ravenclaws push the boundaries of magic in a multitude of ways. They're happy to experiment, welcoming of new ideas, and the absolute last people to dismiss anyone for being a little bit different. There'd be no need to hide your bad habits or strange tendencies from a Ravenclaw. They'd accept you for who you are, quirks and all. Most Ravenclaws are honest to a fault. Luna was the epitome of this very Ravenclaw trait. Her tendency to share her observations without any element of sugarcoating might have made her appear blunt, but she never did it out of cruelness. So it's got an example here. When she said things like this about Ron, he says very funny things sometimes, doesn't he? Said Luna, as they set off down the corridor together. He can be a bit unkind. I noticed that last year, and that's from Half-Blood Prince. She doesn't mean to do anything other than be honest. Ravenclaws don't tend to gossip or say things out of malice, but they will always tell the truth, and honesty makes for healthy relationships, even if it's a bit close to the bone sometimes. Please let this be the last point. Okay, I'm going to make that the last point because that's a good segue. So Ravenclaws are obviously clever, so point 5 here, they're proud of themselves. The Sorting Hat sings about it all the time, but it's more than that. Enthusiasm for learning is, sadly, not always so highly prized, but that's the point of Ravenclaw. They're unashamed of their cleverness, proud to be a part of the house that values it, and eager to share their knowledge with as many people as will listen. Such intellectual curiosity makes Ravenclaws extremely interesting partners, and who knows, they might spur you on to greater feats of discovery too. And then the last point is they'll impress you with their great wit. With wisdom comes wit, and Ravenclaws would surely be great company at a dinner table. Not only would they have lots of fascinating stuff to talk about, but as Hogwarts' quickest thinkers, they'd be great conversationalists. We doubt you'd ever run out of things to say to a Ravenclaw, and given their willingness to debate every question, they'd probably treat every one of your sentences with the utmost respect, although we suspect they prefer deep and meaningful conversations to celebrity gossip. Yeah. After all, you can't even get into the tower without answering a challenging question, which incidentally means hanging around outside Ravenclaw Tower is a great place to pick up some witty repartee. And the reason I left impressing you with our great wit to the end is that in Shakespearean times, wit was a euphemism for male genitalia, which, knowing that that was probably sort of around the time where Hogwarts was being founded, or even before then, so it very well could have been at the time. It just means that the Ravenclaw line of wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure, which is also written very poetically as well, does take on sort of a double meaning. It's not only, emphasizing that having wit and wisdom and knowledge and intelligence should be the pursuit of all mankind, for it is the greatest treasure, more so than gold and jewels, but it's also a very nicely disguised dick joke. And so with that, I'm going to leave you guys to the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and the notification bell if you want to see more videos from me and be notified when I upload them. The links for all of this are down below, and let me know in the comments if you're in Ravenclaw and if any of this sort of sounded like you, and sort of fit you, and if you're in another house, let me know sort of your traits and stuff. Would love to hear from everybody, and yeah, until next time guys, keep your head screwed on.